Pest Lifecycle Series, Flea Beetle, developed by ICD Solutions and Lutheran Services in Iowa Global Greens, in Zone 5A and B in the Midwestern United States, although this information can be used in any region. This guide shows the life cycle of the flea beetle so you can know where they are during the season and how to manage them. The learning objectives in this lesson is that you will learn the life cycle of the pest, learn more information about the pest, and learn what you can do to manage the flea beetles. Not included are how to make your own management plan for this pest, although that is very important. Thank you very much to all the people who made this possible. Flea beetle information. Flea beetles are a tiny insect that can cause a lot of damage on your farm. Flea beetles especially like to eat brassicas like mustard and arugula, and solanum family crops like eggplant, and potato leaves, and tomato leaves. Flea beetles love eggplant. When you plant eggplant later in May, you can avoid early flea beetle damage. Or you can plant a brassica trap crop like fast-growing mustard greens that will draw away the flea beetles from your eggplant plants. Here's a picture of a flea beetle on a leaf. The actual size of them is shown here, this little black dot. There are lots of different types of flea beetles, but generally they'll be small and black, and adults feed on leaves and stems. Flea beetles overwinter or live in the soil and in piles of plant material. You can bury plant material in your soil to increase organic matter, or put it in your compost pile. Using row cover early in the season will keep flea beetles away from your plants as well. On the next slide, we'll go over the flea beetle life cycle and when the flea beetle is most active in the months of April, May, and June. It is very important for you to know when flea beetles are most active and where they live during the year so you can come up with a good management plan. Let's go over a couple of vocabulary words first. Eggs. You can see the eggs at the base of the plant here. Larvae emerge from eggs, and then they pupate for a couple of weeks and turn into adults. These adults are typically seen in April, May, and June when they are most active. Knowing that adults are most active and feeding on your plants in April, May, and June is very important to know. However, the adults go back into the ground and live under weeds and dead plant matter over the fall and winter. They emerge in early spring and lay their eggs at the base of plant where larvae emerge from eggs. Larvae turn into pupa and pupa into adults. It is important to know where the flea beetle lives during the whole year so you can make a management plan. This management plan and what you can do is in two categories. Is prevent, which means do something before you have a problem, and react, which means doing something after you see you have a problem. Notice there are much more ways to prevent flea beetle damage than there are reactions to it. First, make healthy soil. Healthy soil attracts good bugs that like to eat flea beetles. Healthy soil grows strong plants that resist flea beetle damage. 2. Plant flowering crops and perennials. When you plant buckwheat and dill, you attract braconid wasps that like to eat flea beetles. This is a picture of a braconid wasp on some flowers. Third, rotate your crops. Rotate your crops to maintain soil nutrients and attract good bugs, natural predators, and microbial activity, which keep bad bugs away. Also keep in mind the life cycle from the previous slide. This is a picture of flea beetles living on radishes during 1 year. In the next year, peas are planted. Flea beetles do not like to eat peas as much as they like to eat potatoes or radish leaves. So the third year you could plant potatoes after the peas. However, if you had planted potatoes after the radishes, then flea beetles would come up out of the ground in the spring and have an easy way to eat a crop that they like. Plant crops that flea beetles do not like in between crops that flea beetles do like to eat to rotate crops and prevent damage. Next, mulch beds and plots with 6 to 12 inches of straw, grass clippings, leaf mulch, or wood chips. Larvae cannot come up from the soil to feed when you mulch your plants. 5. Use row cover early in the season as soon as you plant your crops. Row cover used in conjunction with crop rotation will prevent almost all damage from flea beetles to your crop. If you use row cover and do not use crop rotation, all you do is trap flea beetles underneath the row cover. When using row cover, make sure to remove the row cover when plants make flowers, as you will allow pollinators access to those flower plants. Lastly, once you see damage on your plants, use organic pesticides as a last option. You can use sprays like neem oil, Hyganic, or Entrust, which keep flea beetles away or kill flea beetles on contact. Make sure you follow label instructions when using organic sprays. This was the Pest Lifecycle series on the flea beetle. Thank you very much to all of the people and our sponsors who made this possible.